Hey there, everybody! Welcome back to the Anime4ALL Academia. Well,
Hi, everybody!
Wow, I am very sorry. I meant the Anime4ALL podcast. I almost went off on the Anime4ALL Academia. Oh Lord! Oh no! We are literally closing in on that anime too.
We're playing with Deku Nut here.
Actually, I've been playing Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. That's a really good game. I need to finish that. Sorry, you just said Deku Nut, and it just reminded me of Legend of Zelda.
Oh yeah. I can't get over Deku with Deku Nut.
But Deku was supposed to mean, well, it's got multiple meanings, but the meaning that they were using in the show was you can do nothing. They're weakling, which is kind of funny considering that the Deku scrub mask is a little weak shrub thing.
Yeah.
But kind of fits. I think before we were doing this, I guess we're gonna continue on what we were saying. Like, I think we agree on plenty of things. It's just that some things I have a different point of view on. I think you're exaggerating.
It's not that you have a different point of view, it's that you're wrong.
I just want to point out that I invited him onto my show. Just saying all kinds of, no, just kidding.
Always point out that it's your show. I see how it is.
I don't even really think it's my show. It's just a show that somehow become a show. I'm reminded every time you mention how long we know each other, how long this has been going on.
It's been an awfully long time.
I can't believe it's been going on for that long, at least 4 years plus. It's ridiculous.
You could just... all those YouTube videos that nobody watches.
Actually, you'd be surprised how many actual, like, how many videos do get watched. I'm actually continually surprised. It's not a continuous, like, every episode every week gets views. It's like, it's a healthy amount. Like, I'm actually like, and I'm getting thumbs up, so somebody is appearing on these videos and watching a little bit of it, hitting a thumbs up.
It's my guy from Brazil. It's my guy from Brazil.
Maybe, I don't know. I can't tell. I don't know what episodes we even mention him to even gauge that participation.
Do you still put podcasts on YouTube?
It goes up on YouTube every like they go up a week after we do this live. I probably been wondering if how, like, should I be doing them day and day, but at the same time it's like, I don't think I want to put that stress on myself again. There was a point in me doing online entertainment where I literally made sure I had things go up Monday through Friday, and that was back in college. But I think I almost burnt myself out on it. I don't know how, but you know, because I was doing it so much, trying to make the grind happen, but it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't funny. I thought I was funny, but clearly I wasn't funny. But
you're not very funny.
But take this. I keep on saying
just
that.
roasting and roasting
and
roasting.
Leave. I don't even leave. I just keep saying I don't have to take this. Like, yeah, you don't have to take this. Shut up.
What's our most viewed video? Like, how many?
I don't know. Maybe within the My Hero Academia thing, I would suspect. I think he had some views on Rurouni Kenshin. I think.
Really?
I think there's even some views on Shaman King. I want to say. I think Dragon Ball Z might be the most viewed. I would think if we were reviewing those episodes when they were happening. I think we were. Can't say we weren't.
We had some reasonably good Shaman King and Kenshin things going on, the history ones, where I would be able to get into the history of stuff.
That's what some of my game streams have been doing surprisingly well. Well, granted, I think some of that just has to do with maybe I don't know what it's gonna do with it, to be honest. I don't think about the Donkey Kong videos, which I actually haven't. If only I could solve my technological issues, I could get back to playing Donkey Kong.
That would be nice.
Ah.
Is the new Switch 2 Donkey Kong any good?
Oh yeah, I love it. I just haven't been.
Is it like Donkey Kong Country, or is it something completely different?
There are some parts reminiscent of Donkey Kong Country, but it's mostly just a 3D platformer. It's like more of Donkey Kong 64, a little more, like a lot more refined.
No, I wouldn't play it then. If it was like Donkey Kong Country, that would almost be a reason for me to get the Switch 2 exclusively.
You like 3D platformers?
We're trying to figure out what to do with for Grayson's big present for Christmas. He really wants the Switch 2. Like, that's what he wants the most, and that's like his number one item list. But the problem with that I talked to Jesse is like, how much does the Switch 2 cost? So it costs some stupid amount of money.
$450.
Right. So I'm like, Jesse, if we get him the Switch 2, $450 without even another game, without even Mario Kart. I said, the games for the Switch 2 are super expensive. So I said, like, we could get him the Switch 2 in like one game, unless all we gave him for Christmas was the Switch 2. You know what I mean? And I said, we can beg my mom to get him a game, and beg your mom to get him a game, and then that's 3 games. I said, or we could spend that $600+ like on Switch games and Steam games, and he could have like, for that much he could have like dozens of games, you know what I mean? Or we could take a whole trip, and that would be like $300, you know, like a family trip. Like it's really hard to justify getting him the Switch 2 with how much they're charging for it. $450 is a lot of money. I don't remember spending that much in any other console. I thought they like were usually around $250 range.
There's a lot more going on. The Switch 2 is more powerful than anything they've made at this point.
You can say that about any system. Every system that Nintendo comes out with is a lot more powerful than the other one.
I don't know. You can make an argument that that's not really the case. I think it took them a while to enter not the resolution means much to you or anybody else. I just like, you know, for a while they were making games at 720p, but they were really decent.
You said P again.
Then they made the Wii U, which flopped, which was like their first high definition system. Apparently, I wasn't even aware of that. Again, I wasn't really following Nintendo consoles so much. But,
I really liked the Wii U.
Yeah, nobody else did because they didn't market it all that well.
Yeah.
People were confused whether it was a controller or not. I actually kind of fell in that trap too. Cause I was like, is that just a controller to put on the Nintendo Wii? Like GameStop was late telling me, no, that's a whole new console. Oh, never mind.
Wii is a funny name for something. The first thing I thought of when I heard of Wii was that Wii is a penis. You know that, right?
I'm aware of what that could be, but I'm not saying that. Like, that's not what my thought process is. It's not the first. It's not the first thought I had.
It was immediately, they said Wii, and Wii is P. It's an old-fashioned word for P. And Wee is an old-fashioned word for penis, and it's just like... It was one of the worst brand name choices I thought I'd ever come across. That and Trojan.
I mean, I don't know what you would call their system. I mean, the Nintendo Virtual, whatever they couldn't really, or whatever they could have come up with, I don't think would have really run off the tongue. They needed something more catchy.
That's not catchy.
I feel like it is. I mean, I remember it. It's in the league.
Yeah, but this goes back to what I was telling you earlier, that sometimes we disagree, but usually you're just wrong.
Whatever. For me, like personally, Nintendo consoles they buy first party.
Actually, I don't know why I said that. The truth of the matter is you're always wrong.
But I had a thought process. I think got me off track. Happens a lot. I don't know why my thought really gets derailed so easily. Crap. What I was. I had something to do.
You were talking about how powerful the Switch 2 was.
I wouldn't. Well, I want to get beyond that because people can make an argument for whatever they want. I own a PS5 now, so honestly, I could see the differences between both consoles. Honestly, the real reason why I own that thing is to make it a little bit easier to play some things where I don't have to have my computer on all the dang time. But there's a caveat to having a PC and playing things. Like, you need to have it on to use it. It makes sense when you read a little bit. If I wanted to play something but I didn't want my computer on, well, I don't have that option. But now I do. But, as for your Donkey Kong comment, I feel like the game is good enough. I mean, not good enough, but I feel like the game is good. The first Donkey Kong game they made in forever. I think the last game they made was Tropical Freeze. And I think after that, it was like 10 years before they made anything new. And a lot of people were like, begging for a 3D platform from the Monkey Man himself, but apparently, I don't know what Nintendo was doing or not doing when they were designing or they were tossing ideas. Apparently, a couple of like former Nintendo employees mentioned that during their time there, that it seemed like they were trying to do something with him, but they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do. So like they kept tossing ideas out.
Tropical Freeze went poorly, didn't it?
No, people loved it.
They did?
Yeah, from what I understand, people loved it.
Oh yeah, 4.6. Why won't they more Donkey Kong Country games if people like Tropical Freeze?
There's
I don't
an
get
issue
it.
with Rare, and that's who made the 2D Donkey Kong game.
No, Retro Studios made Tropical Freeze.
They're still like an R name, but at the same time, like Rare, because they were using Rare's.
Dude, the fact that they both begin with R has nothing to do with anything.
Can I complete my sentence here?
He said, "Oh, it's another R name, dude."
I was just joking around. I was just joking, but let me get my thought process out. Retro is using Rare designs, and I know there's an issue between Nintendo and Rare, and just the whole idea, the whole IP, because everything Donkey Kong was made, like everything that made Donkey Kong famous was made by Rare, but then Nintendo and Rare had a falling out. Rare ended up going to Microsoft, but somehow Nintendo still kept a hold of Donkey Kong, and like they just didn't make things with them. And from my understanding, there was just some kind of like there was some legal issue, I guess, with using Rare stuff in games, which I think was why they rarely made anything with him, or tried anything specific. I mean, it's not like they didn't do well enough. I just think they didn't do well as, say, Mario, for instance. You know, the Mario blew like sales records. Donkey Kong never had that happen with them. I think Bonanza is literally the first one that had that happen where they blew sales projections, I believe, anyway, for that game specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first new IP thing with him, and Donkey Kong's got a new design. He's a lot more friendlier to kids. Because I mean, I will admit, because this is brought up too, that Donkey Kong always looked like he was.
Since when is Donkey Kong not friendly to kids?
The original design, according to Nintendo, and this is Japanese the way they look at things, they don't think he was friendly enough. Because like Donkey Kong never smiled. For some reason, Donkey Kong back then also had a very weird dichotomy where he either had teeth or he didn't. Not that I cared that much, but some people did. A little bit too much.
That's the kind of thing, honestly, that's the kind of thing I could see you caring about way more than you should.
I could care less. It seemed kind of weird that him having teeth or him not. I mean, it's kind of funny whenever it was brought up, because I was like, what does that matter? But, because, I mean, I could tell he's smiling, but, some people cared about it. I guess it's one of those things, it's more about continuity's sake, and I just like, continuity of teeth? That's interesting, but, now he's got teeth. And he looks more like friendly monkey versus anything. Granted, Donkey Kong's a gorilla, but nobody talks about that. It's Diddy Kong that's the actual chimp, but whatever. I think, from my understanding, they were just trying to do things with him, and they could never come to a consensus, I guess. And it's like, and then eventually, at some point, he was redesigned. Because like after he got redesigned, not even joking, suddenly all kinds of renders of the new design started showing everywhere. It was the weirdest thing ever. This is before Bonanza was revealed.
Uh-huh.
It was clear that something was gonna happen because like he was being redesigned everywhere. So like, but this is not Nintendo's new thing. I will say there are like little areas in Bonanza that are Donkey Kong Country like. They're short lived because they're more like challenges. They're more like challenging stages basically, but they're 2D.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Like,
I want more Donkey Kong Country.
yeah, a lot of people probably do, but like
I liked every Donkey Kong Country game except for 3.
you should probably play Donkey Kong Country Returns, the Switch game, or Tropical Freeze, which is also Switch game. If you want the 2D variant of the series. I was playing the remake of Donkey Kong Country Returns, but I wasn't really bad at precision platformers. I did not get past Chapter 5, even though I was attempting to. I think I was like on the boss and I kept on dying. That game gets hard, and I don't understand how Nintendo makes a game that hard, because Nintendo doesn't normally make hard games.
They make me hard, baby. What?
I just got like a bug in my eye. Bothering right now. But birds and everything in and out of my brain.
Words are hard.
I will say right now, one of the biggest things that sells me on new constantly Nintendo is Pokemon specifically. So they got a new game coming out next month. I'm looking forward to playing that.
Pokemon is trash, the whole franchise.
Look, yours is with you. I don't got time arguing with you or anybody else. But I can't. I was being serious. We're hot minute on that.
You get triggered really fast about Pokemon related stuff.
I know this about myself, and I don't think I can solve it. I think I'm just way too far into it now. Like, just like, I either need to avoid it in general, just so I don't have to deal with it, because how it makes me feel, and I don't like the way it makes me feel. That is legitimately, I don't know, I just get really upset. Like you said before, I get triggered easily. I don't like feeling like that when it comes to that. That's why I avoid everything. There's another monster catching game from a company that I kind of play, one of their free-to-play games coming out, and I'm avoiding it because I don't want to, because all it's going to do is trigger more Pokemon is trash haters out there, and I can't do it anymore.
What about everything is awesome?
Like, Power World controversy has drained me. Can't care anymore. I refuse to care, but every time it comes up, as you can already hear it right now, the caring is happening, and I don't want to tired of just feeling a certain way. Yeah, it's just a video game world. These are virtual animals that don't really matter. But to me, this is a part of my childhood. You know, it's like how Mario is. Some people, Pokemon was a part of my childhood. Like, it was there. I was able to play it. It made me feel happy. But like nowadays, because people are older and they want to be douche canoes, nobody can just have things. Just like, have this game and enjoy it. I want to be happy. I don't know why that's such a crime. Again, I'm gonna back off. You just can't enjoy things anymore, and that upsets me more than anything else. It doesn't look great. It looks like what are you expecting? This is how I expected it to look when I was a kid. Like, this is a pipe dream for me. I didn't expect them to go this art style.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is like, I'm happy it looks the way it does, because I don't know, people don't like it, and people are expecting, you know, like, don't get me wrong, Legend of Zelda looks awesome. I like the way that game looks. Xenoblade series, that art style is great. I'm not expecting that from my monster capture and PG. Alright, I'm gonna just shut up and I guess you have the floor again as I also say things to your face hole. But Kinos journey.
Hang
You
on.
say things to your face hole, so you say something back. I'm like letting you know. He's gonna just be quiet as me. What's happening?
So, I feel bad that you couldn't tell me about your Pokemon stuff. Because you like,
I think I already said enough.
well, it sounded like you had more to say, but then you were like, but if you say the slightest thing about my precious Pokemon, I'm gonna get too triggered to be able to talk about it.
That's what I just don't want to trigger like people who will say things back at me about it, and I just don't want to deal with it.
I mean, the people listening?
People in general. I don't know if anybody listening, but I mean, I've said things about the series in general, about how I'm looking forward to something, and all I get back is flack. I mean, the Power World controversy was just a tipping point. Like during that entire year when it was Power World, there's a Power World that, and I feel bad feelings because I know Stella likes Power World, and like I tell her all the time, like I'm glad you enjoy it. Like I really do. I'm glad you can get what I can out of it because I can't enjoy that game without thinking about all the stuff that all the hatred that is like sieved out of the internet all at once on Game Freak in general. Literally what happened was like when it released, everybody at every corner of the internet jumped on Game Freak. Actually, take that back. They all jumped on Pocket Tech or whatever the name of the company is that made that game, and then they told Game Freak what was going on. And at first they weren't doing anything, and then all of a sudden, because like there were some minor similarities between their monsters and their pals, that like just lawsuits and stuff like that, and now it's just like I can't believe something that gave me so much joy as a kid is causing financial lawsuits to be happening 25 years later. Like,
Yeah.
Mario doesn't do this, Zelda doesn't do this, no other game series that I've freaking seen does this, but Pocket Monsters just does, and I don't understand it. Like, I can't. In all legitimacy, when people make not accusations, but people make critiques about the series, I'm open to it. But when I hear the critiques don't make a lot of sense. All I really hear is that either Pokemon has stayed the same for so long, but it's like, well, this is what I want. This is what works. Like, I can't imagine how the series could change for the better without ruining it. Granted, luckily, when they did make a change, Legends kind of just took off, so it looks like they can make changes with that series and keep the main series the same. But granted, now I'm hearing a lot of talks about the new Legends game and how people said they want the series to kind of go the active battle route where, you know, things are happening all the same time. I guess, which is cool, but you know, my biggest thing is like, okay, what happens to the competitive scene, which is who participates in a lot of this Pokemania. Like if you take the turn-based concept out of everything, you kind of like take the competitive scene out, which is who they've been catering to surprisingly for the last 5 years, making it easier to do that kind of thing. Well, granted, actually, yeah, you shouldn't be catering to one side of your fan base, but I mean, I think it's easier to cater to them because they don't seem to be so outrageously angry about things. Though recently, it seems like there's been this app that I don't completely understand that they've been talking about, that I'm guessing might be the competitive solution. But it sounds like maybe they're gonna take the competitive part of the game out, put it into an app, so you can play it on your phone or your Switch without the Pokemon game involved. So it sounds like if that's what they're doing, and if that's where they're gonna go for the next generation, we'll see. But it's just like the negativity of it all. Like, could I ignore it? Yeah, but I don't think I can, because it's been really difficult to do anything in that space without hitting a wall. Somebody says Pokemon looks like crap, and I'm sitting here like, what were you expecting? I don't like when people say that. I don't know what they're expecting. Like what actual visual style they were expecting, because nobody says anything. It's literally, it does look good, it does look the way I want it, but then the question comes out like, what were you expecting? I don't know, but I wasn't expecting that. That's what infuriates me. Nobody says anything about like what they were expecting. If I could figure out what they were expecting, maybe I'll understand a little more, but this has been a consistent problem in that space for years. So when Power Up comes along and then completely, becomes a world sensation, which, by the way, one of the bigger issues about Game Freak in general in their series is that not many clones of the capturing genre blow up like they do. So a lot of times when they do make a capturing clone, it kind of just shows up one day and disappears. Power Up was the first one that did it. Like when it showed up, it took off. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that they were letting people call themselves Pokemon with guns. I think like a major part was probably that. I think Power probably would have done the exact same thing but lasted a little bit longer if it wasn't for the Pokemon with guns comment. That they were purposely taking advantage of, by the way. I just want to point that out. Or whatever. Again, I'd rather just try to enjoy what I can get out of the series. All of the negativity that comes along with being a fan. Because I had a few people in Stella's group chat during that year either making comments about it at me, or that one comment that seemed more like retribution at me for liking the series that I like, but whatever. Too much negativity for something that I was trying to be happy with. Now it's becoming a lot harder just to be happy about it. I'm gonna keep on playing the games because that's what I want. That's what I want to put my money on.
Keep on playing with you, cause it's the only thing I wanna do. I don't wanna sleep, I just wanna keep on playing Pocket Monsters. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like that?
No, with a lot of less singing. I'm just gonna play the game. Okay, continue with your Kinos journey. I'm not sure how much longer.
Continue. I haven't even had a chance to start yet.
Yeah, you don't want to brought up talking about Pokemon. You know what? We'll just start. We'll just start from here. Please, like.
All that we've done so far is that you started mansplaining me about how you think they're good episodes.
I didn't start mansplaining at all. I did not sit here with my legs open.
100% mansplainage.
No, I did not. I just said I enjoy these episodes because, first of all, these are the first episodes. So we're going to start there. You want to get all uppity with me about it. I like the two characters, and I also want to point out the way you described this episode to me over the freaking thing made it sound like Kino only showed up once in the entire episode.
She did.
No, she
did.
No, she didn't. She showed up multiple times. There was even a point where it was all Kino. She was explaining what her master and her disciple were doing. There was a literal big chunk, probably nearing the end of the episode, where she was there explaining to Hermes what her master was doing when they took over that town. Like, the way you made it sound like she showed up at the very beginning of the episode for a few seconds. Which I'm gonna give you that. She definitely did at the very beginning of the episode. A few seconds. But then she shows up again, and it's a lot longer of a segment. I don't know, maybe
it's not that long though. It's just sort of like the denouement, you know?
The way you made it sound like this is what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like
one of the episodes she doesn't even like pop her head in the room.
We'll get to that later. But I still like that episode.
It's true. It's dong dag true.
I enjoyed that episode. I don't care what you say. I also enjoyed this episode too. Like I'm saying, but the way you made it sound like Kino was not there. Like, I feel like the way
she's making like cameo appearances in her own show.
I misinterpreted what you meant by barely there or our definitions of barely there are completely different.
She was barely there.
I don't consider her explaining to Hermes what her master was doing is barely there.
She's there for 48 seconds in the beginning of the episode.
I give you that.
Because I just checked.
I gave you that.
And then they have a little flash, and I'm checking the time signature, where she stops, and it's 12:42 to 1 minute in the middle. And then at the end, $18.55. About 3.5 minutes at the end. So she's in there for 5 minutes of a 23-minute episode.
That's a lot of time. Because for me, the way you
But
made it
it's-
sound like to me when I was reading your statement, it sounded like she was only there at the very beginning.
But even when she is there, it's about Master. Like, she's sitting there saying, oh, so anyway, blah, 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 Master. And they don't show, like, the story, but she's telling the story.
They show the story. I mean, there's some parts they don't show because she's explaining, but, like, for the most part, they do show you what they were doing in bits that kind of mattered. I mean, who really, like, who really wants to see Kinos Master? I mean, well, some people probably do, but who really wants to see Kinos Master take over a tower? I'd rather just see her, like, what she does in her apprentice, which is, I love the scene in which she was, like, shooting, like, the police officers were trying to get her and her apprentice out of the city, and they were trying to give her things in the truck, for instance, and she just blew that thing up.
That was probably my favorite moment of the episode, is when she takes the rocket launcher to the truck.
I just laughed so hard because it was just like a comedy skit. It was just like, what the heck? But to me, barely there means that, like, the very beginning of the episode, they show up for a few seconds, which she did. Again, I'm not denying that. But she shows up again, and then again near the end of the episode. To me, like, okay, that's a good amount of time, considering the episode really wasn't about her. It's about her master and the person she was. Which, granted, I will also give, they didn't do a good job too much explaining what she was like. She's like, from the very explanations we got of her, she's very elusive from the way talks about her. I also want to know who the heck that apprentice that apparently was with her master when she was younger, because I don't think they give him a name other than apprentice. And I honestly thought,
No, they don't give him a name.
I honestly thought maybe at first that maybe he was Kino, but they don't. There's no allusion to that being his name. So.
It's absolutely not Kino. It doesn't look anything like Kino.
I mean, I barely.
And also
Kino. I'm being honest.
Also the time frame. Like, she became an old woman since that episode. Like, Kino's still a child, probably. It's hard to say exactly how old she is, but I picture her as being in her teenage years at the most.
You know, Kino in that present day, I feel like she's probably 18. Like, I only say that mainly because
That's still teenage years.
I don't really say that because, like, anime typically ages never really truly reflect how people look sometimes. Some people can look old but be like 17 or whatever. I kind of used that because Leorio from Hunter x Hunter had that thing going on where people thought he was in his 20s for some reason, but he was actually 16.
Well, part of the reason that I think that she is younger is her physical height. That most people are taller than Kino in the show. Another one is that I'm pretty sure, although not 100% positive, that in the original series, she was, like, young. They don't tell you exactly, but they suggested many times that in the original one that she's pretty young, but she's probably not 20 yet. So based on the fact that original OG, like, anime Kino was young, and her height is not so hot, not so big, and stuff like that, it strikes me that she's probably 16 to 19 range, probably leaning closer to 19 than 16.
I want to. You say her height is one of like. I don't know if you can use her height because isn't it normal that like most of the time girls grow faster when they're when they're really young, like they're taller than boys to a certain point, then they stop growing. Like, granted, I'm not gonna sit there and say that no, she doesn't have any more room to grow because there are some women who are 6 foot. I recognize.
She's short compared to other women though too, not just compared to men.
But it still fits into the whole idea. I'm not gonna just use men here. I was like, but in general, isn't it that girls have like they get most of their height up until their teenage years? Like, isn't that usually the case? Like, they stop growing at a certain point. Like, they start growing they start growing taller at a certain point. Like, they reach their peak height faster than young boys do. And I feel like if that can still even among girls can still differ. Like, girls don't all hit the same height anyway. There's some girls who are there are some women who are really short, but they're in their 20s, they're in their 30s. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, I feel like for the most part, they do grow anymore post puberty. The possibility, like I said, I'm not saying she can. I'm just saying, just in general, I feel like maybe her height should be as a consideration, but I could be wrong. Considering she's very androgynous in the first place, it doesn't really matter. But I was like, when you said that, I was like, what? Girls reach their height limit. I mean, their maximum height much sooner.
Are you sure that's true? Can you Google that for me?
I feel like I was told this.
Can you Google that for me?
I mean, I'm gonna.
Are you gonna make me Google it?
No, I'm trying. Give me a minute. Can you give me a minute here?
No. Or ChatGPT might be a better way to do that one. I don't know.
I wouldn't trust ChatGPT. Great, I'm using ChatGPT or AI overview. As girls generally reach their full height between the ages of 14 and 15. But this can vary depending on when puberty started.
Well, she's also thin and childlike in her build too, so she could all. I mean, even if you reach your full height, you could still flesh out a little bit.
I really just said that because she's androgynous, none of that what I just said really matters.
Yeah.
I literally didn't I just say that? I feel like I still agree with you.
Yeah.
Listening to me. That's what it feels like.
Androgynous and childlike are pretty similar. I was thinking of it as two different things, but yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, they probably could be, because like even as a child, you're technically not androgynous as a child because there are still gonna be facial distinctions. Period. Most of the time, girls and boys share chubby faces. And typically, boys and girls are kind of the same build anyway. When before puberty. Puberty is the only thing that distinguishes people anyway. But back to Kino. Yeah, she's still gonna be a child. I was just trying to say like maybe height isn't. But again, if she's still in her growing phase, because they definitely did say puberty, and I do also know this too. Girls hit puberty at different times. Sometimes they don't hit puberty until they're out of high school. So like when people say that girls sometimes drastically change out of high school, that's one of the things. It's possible that she hasn't hit puberty yet. Granted, I highly doubt that she wants to, considering that she looks boyish on purpose. So I don't know. Even her master, other than like the long hair, and maybe the small pointiness in her chest when they did show, because they didn't really mistake her for being a boy. They literally, when they pull Kino's master into the prison to interrogate her, they pretty much flat out reveal that they know she's a woman. Granted, the hair probably was a dead giveaway, but still.
According to ChatGPT, which isn't citing any sources for this, Kino's exact age is never stated outright in the original Kino's Journey light novels or anime adaptations. However, most official sources and fan consensus place Kinos at the age of 15 to 16 years old during the events of the series. In the Keiichi Sigsawa's light novels, she is described as a young teenager who left home at age 12. But by the time of her travels with Hermes, the Takamoto Rad, she is in her mid-teens. Both the 2003 and 2017 anime adaptation depict Kino with appearance, voice, and maturity of someone 15 to 16 years old range, though youthful and not yet still youthful and not yet an adult. And it goes on, but that's it's kind of repeats itself after that.
I feel like that her height, if they were going with that, they say 15 to 16. That thing I just looked up said that apparently they reached full height by 12 to 13, but that doesn't mean she still can't change physically drastically anyway. So it does. I guess the point is moot. I was just kind of trying to pick at the whole height thing. I don't know if that's really fair, because I want to say this too, just to be fair on both sides of the spectrum. Guys, some guys don't get tall. Some of them just flat out don't, and it's really, to me, it's an anomaly when that happens, because like being a dude and you have all these tall guy friends, it's like you're short, and you're like, that can be emasculating in multiple different ways.
So you hate midgets now? Is that what you're saying?
No, I wouldn't call.
My God, I didn't know you hated midgets.
I wouldn't call him a friend because he didn't talk to me. Though I will say, no, he did talk to me after. Actually, he sought me out when I was like riding the metro one day. I just had me standing there, and he was having to recognize who I was.
You know, if I said I don't hate black people, I even had a black friend once, you would tear me apart.
At some point, say I hate.
I think at some point you said you hate me.
I don't hate anybody of differing physicality, ethnicity, like melanin, non-melanin. That last one was in Stella. You know what's funny about melanin? I still can't believe that actually is like an anti-skin cancering thing, but still, people that have it can still get skin cancer. It's rare. Like, that still shocks me. It's like, what's the point of having this if skin cancer is still a problem? Not that I want to lose my melanin, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, I didn't even know. I guess it's one thing I want to say. I didn't even know that it was a fact. I really didn't. I only found that out like into my adulthood. I didn't know that was an actual like fact. It's like, apparently we're kind of immune to skin cancer, but we can still get it. It's just rare. And I was like, that's no way that's true. I look it up and yep, there it is. The more you know, reading Rainbow. But back to the episode.
So we got a little tiny bit of non-linear storytelling in this episode. Even after last podcast, we talk about. I talked about how one of the things I didn't like about this was that they didn't have that non-linear storytelling at all. It seemed like everything was just episodic, and there wasn't going to be any non-linear. Remember, I talked about how there were things that would like tell you, like, if I always wanted to have a project where I sat down and tried to put the original Kinos journeys in chronological order of like the events that happened, and I never got around to like. Because there were like indications, like when she obtained, there was a special gun that she obtained in a specific time, and like stuff like that. So I thought it was interesting in this episode that we get a little bit of non-linearness, because we get not a flashback per se, you know what I mean, but like we get a story told back in time with her. Like we get a peek at the master, and the whole episode's in like that sepia tone. Stylized sepia tone to indicate that it was like a long time ago, and to make it kind of feel cool and a little more like a spy kind of movie kind of thing, like almost like indicate that they sort of like are playing around with pseudo switching genres for just a little bit, which I thought was kind of cool. it also helped me because I was like, wait. At first, when I saw it, my first thought was like, are they showing Kino as an adult? Because the animation looked a little bit Kino-like to me.
You talking about Kino's master?
Yeah, Kino's master looked like, for a minute when I saw her, like when she first appeared on screen, my thought was, is this Kino as a full adult?
I mean, the thought did cross my mind, but I mean, I think it became really, really quick. It became known really quickly that that was in fact Kino telling the story.
Yeah, it did. But that was my first thought. So then, like, and the voice is not too far away from Kino's voice actor either.
I want to point
Um,
something out really quick.
yeah.
It's just about the voice. Um, I was listening to Kino's master's voice, and I'd like to point out. I think earlier when we were talking about the first episode of this show, this remake, I caught on to Ian Sinclair. Um, I want to point out that you said there's the same voice using Kino in her. So it kind of makes me wonder, is like, I think it's Caitlin Glass, and this American VA has done One Piece voice acting too. Um, at first I thought it was Nico Robin, but I couldn't find anywhere where it was said that is she that actress done anything for this show. But when I was looking into trying to figure out who her master's voice was, her name
Mhm.
came up, Caitlin Glass, and Caitlin Glass voiced a character called if I could just pronounce it correctly. This is for people who would know One Piece, but Nefeltari Vivi. Specifically, what really interested me was because these two characters I don't think are similar, but I know Nico Robin. That's kind of the reason why I was looking at Nico Robin, because Nico Robin reminded this character, her master, reminded me a little bit of Nico Robin. Um, but Nefertiti was a princess in like in a desert kingdom that was
Mhm.
like under siege. I just thought it was interesting that I'm recognizing these voices from other shows. That normally doesn't happen when I'm watching shows that you recommend. Not that I want that to happen, but it's just one of those things I rarely notice voices. But another voice I wanted, and I couldn't find any proof, and this might be just another case of whatever reason, some VAs are just not getting credit. Did that officer that was interrogating her sound like Oolong to you?
Excuse me?
That police officer that was interrogating Kino's master, didn't that look, to me it sounded like Oolong, but I couldn't find any proof. The voice was very similar to something I've heard before, and
For
Oolong,
which character?
the police officer, the generic police officer that was interrogating Kino's master that first time, when
Oh,
when he had like he said that he had found her assistant, with drugs and whatever like that police officer that was laughing and everything like that.
no, I don't know.
I was listening to it and he sounded like Oolong to me. I couldn't find
Let
any
me see.
proof. I couldn't find any proof that it was him, so probably wasn't. I was just probably again misinterpreting. But like when I was, because her master, my real point was like her master was like, I really wish I could find out this is Nico Robin. Unfortunately, it was not. But I really wanted to bring it because Nico Robin and her are kind of similar. They both very aloof characters. They're very mysterious. Um,
Yeah.
can't really pull one over them because like they have their own agenda in their mind. She reminded me of Nico Robin a little bit, and I was so hoping that was her VA, but it wasn't. Which disappointed me in so many ways, but I still found out who it was that I was hearing though. But I haven't heard Vivi's voice in a long time too, so it was kind of shocking that I was able to recognize it.
I'm checking ChatGPT while we talk.
I highly doubt that it's wrong because I couldn't find any proof.
Apparently, there were 3 different voice actors for Oolong. No, none of the 3 voice actors.
I had a feeling it was just one of those. I really kind of wish that it was because they sounded like him. The worst part is I couldn't see. I could have went back and looked at the credited Gilba in there, but I don't think it was. It wasn't like for me. The Elon's voice wasn't so. That's got to be him, like it was Piccolo, Vegeta, and everything. That one character at the very beginning, the dog. When I heard the dog speak, like Chris Sabat's got a distinct voice. There's no way I could mistake him for anybody else but Chris Sabat. But oh well. Okay, back. You had a.
What's the dog say?
What?
Sorry. I said, what's the dog say?
This isn't a what the fox say mean. Continue on with your process. If you still have it.
Ulan says food. Poir says. But what's the dog say?
Your oolong sounded like Yajirobe, I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, I was thinking Yajirubi and said Ulan, sorry.
Oh.
So there was one little moment here too, like where I felt like they were sort of like temporarily remembering the original Kinos Journey anime and playing a tribute, along with this one not being as linear as the other one. The other storyline seemed to be for Kinos Journey so far, and that was that Hermes did his like little like misspeaking thing that he's like it's a signature thing for him. In the original series, he has a lot of them. Like he has like 4 or 5 of them at least, where he says like, for example, one of them he says like charity is not for the sake of others. For example, in Kino corrects him. But in this one, he said at one point, adding fools to the fire. And he's like, oh, like you're adding fools to the fire, and Kino doesn't correct him. And she pauses for a second and says, actually, yeah, that works. But it was like a Hermes trait that he didn't have, that he had all the time in the original series that he was like signature for, but it hasn't been in this series yet. So it was interesting to see that one just kind of creep out of nowhere for a second. So I saw a little throwback to their roots in there, and I thought that was interesting. You probably missed that. It was a very missable detail unless you're me and looking for them.
I heard him say it, but I thought that was on purpose.
I don't know. The fact that it was Hermes and he did it so many times in the last series made me think that they were just kind of weaving that in there a little bit. Let's see. I thought it was strange at the end of the episode that Kino was able to just ride right into the country where Master assaulted and extorted everyone. But it made perfect sense after I saw the episode a little bit more.
I don't know how that would make sense because nobody would know that the 2 people that held up their city was the person was one of the people that taught her. Like there's no way they would have known that for her just waltzing on in unless she straight up just told him that she was, related to the travelers that came by 10 years ago.
Well, it was just like I would have thought if like one pair of travelers had come in and raised that much hell, and like that they might have been a little bit careful about other travelers, but once she got in there, they're like, oh no, we celebrated what she did. It was the greatest thing in the world, even though the person that's celebrating it at that moment was one of the police officers that the Master had shot.
Well, I had to agree with the whole idea. It was kind of surprising she walked in there. I had expected her to be shooting at her when she was getting close, but honestly, when they revealed that basically Master and her apprentice extorted not extorted, that's not the right word, but I guess it's close enough. But like when she was asking for demands, they cut away because I guess Kino either didn't know what the demands were, or she knew and she just completely left that part out for the viewers and Hermes to find out when they walked in. But like it was interesting that she made the deal was basically for them to change their ways, and they agreed. This was also the funny thing. Like I was surprised that that's what happened. Also speaking of Kino and her ability to suss things out, I love that. Like I wasn't even aware of it because when she was looking around at all the elderly, she was taking into consideration they all were limping. I wasn't even aware that was what was happening.
Yeah.
It wasn't until she pointed it out. I was like, oh, real? Oh. I was like, well, I didn't even realize. I didn't go back to even look to see if that was really what was going on there. I believe that is what she apparently managed to find out. It's really funny too because she came into the village and then immediately left, so she wasn't intending to stay for long.
You know what I thought was funny? This was just my own twisted mind playing with it, but I thought it still was funny to me. When they walk out and Hermes mentions like, I almost expected her to be in the clock tower again, and then Kino like freezes in her place, like almost like she's been deeply traumatized. Did you remember that moment as she's like walking out with Hermes?
I thought Hermes said, it's kind of fun. I thought she would, like, what would happen if she was here? And then that's when Kino froze. Again, I agree that, you know, it definitely made it sound like she was traumatized. I can only imagine it was because of that first scene that, you know, you were saying was so short. When she was trying to, sneak up on her master got the, you know, got one up on her, and apparently we cut away and we hear a gun blast, but you know Kino's alright, and Kino's just having a hard time eating a hot dog.
I got Popo's training vibes from that. When she like panics like that, and then Kino, her like when she freezes, and Hermes has to like talk her off the cliff a little bit, and like say face forward and drive, like it's gonna be okay. And Kino's like seems to be like frozen in fear. All I could think of was like first roll of Popo's training. What do you think?
I can see what you mean. I guess speaking of the master, in coming off of your whole idea of like, when you saw her master when she was younger, thought that it was her. I think it's like one of the reasons I really like her master here specifically because it's clear that it's really clear based on how Kino, at least this version of Kino, I'm not comparing the old version, but this version of Kino, it's very clear that when she was training with her master, she picked up a lot of her mannerisms. But it seems like maybe some of her guns, besides like her abilities of pistol, I think she picked up her sniping from that other dude. But it kind of makes me wonder, is like, she must have met him at some point. I don't know when she would have met him. But it seems kind of weird that she kind of has her own sniper rifle, but it seems like, it's not I can tell. I don't really remember. Maybe you can clarify that on me, but like, I don't know. Does her master use a sniper rifle?
She does, but not so far. In the original one, she doesn't. In this one, I haven't seen it.
That's what the master and that Kino, because Kino used it here. But I'm trying to remember because like, I know the apprentice in this one uses the sniper rifle, but I don't know if Kino's master does. I sort of feel like, how could she have picked up sniper rifle experience like she did when she used it during the moving city thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling they used every single weapon known to man when they were up there. If she was firing a bazooka, she certainly had a sniper's rifle somewhere.
It was kind of funny because like they were like these policemen. I guess before we move on, these policemen were begging them to leave, but like they were like, even though that, you know, they want to leave, that wasn't their intent by holding the tower hostage. Like every time it was like, it seemed like, oh, so they're just gonna leave, right? Well, no, that wasn't their actual intent. I was like, what are these people doing? They seem so insane. Like, but like, also, I guess I want to point out too, like, you make mention that like the traveler's role that Kino kind of goes by is always about like being in a town for 3 days, and they don't give them enough time to see the city and then not interfere of anything. Kind of funny. Her master was a traveler, but like in that one instance, he interfered so heavily with the entire city.
And she also stayed there for 3 days.
It only took out their kneecaps. That's all.
But did you notice that? I noticed that she stayed there for 3 days.
I picked up on that, but I was kind of wondering if that was a purpose thing or not.
I don't know. It was interesting to me though, because I'm looking for things like that. There was a few things that bothered me about this episode. One of them was the name of the episode. It was called Historic Country.
It's a historic country. The history of those two.
Every fucking country has a history, but this one didn't seem to like have history as the theme any more or less than like a normal episode would.
It was historic to them, and they literally said that they have.
Yeah, but like not more than like the last episode where they were talking about the founder and she was walked through like the historic museum, for example.
I mean, honestly, for this particular city though. Oh shoot! Go ahead and for this particular city, like, that really matters a lot. So, like I said, every city's got a history, but for this city in particular, what happened in that day matters a lot because it changed a lot.
But it's not any more historic than the radio waves country, for example, like where like their history like completely shaped everything that happened to them, or the episode from last week with the with the rebels, you know what I mean, and the guy like that they all honored for like being their big hero. It just didn't strike me as like a country that was more historic than most of the other countries that they like visited.
I don't know if that was the point though. It was just it was Kino rolled into this particular town because she had interest in it. Well, I wouldn't say interest. She happened to be nearby when she was telling the story at the beginning of. She didn't want to go and see it. It was my initial thought process of that. She was on her journey. She happened to know that she was near the town where all this happened. I don't know if it was really meant to be more historic than anything else. I just feel like it was made clear that the people that live here, they really revere and are thankful for what happened to them on that, happened to their fair city that day. They all got liberated. It may not be the most historic thing in the world, but I feel like some countries and some cities have that kind of thing too in real life. Like whatever happened to them isn't the most historic thing in the world, but for them it means something. Day of the Dead, for instance, like that's not historic anywhere. Well, not historic. It's not important to any other country other than Mexico. No other country celebrates it. My thought process.
I hear you. It didn't strike me as like the best name for this episode. I'm not sure what they could have picked, but historic country, I was just like, this just doesn't strike me as more historic than most of the other countries. Like I almost every country she visits has like a history that's at least this relevant. So
Doc hates this town's history.
I don't like it. I think it's too what's the word? What's the word I'm thinking for?
Vanilla?
No.
Interesting?
Too DEI. I think it's too DEI. It should have just been about the white men of the episode, of the history.
I'm not gonna touch that. A lot of words and feelings for that one.
And to have a woman as their main historical figure, it's just a DEI like shill at that point,
We move on before we get canceled.
No, I think the history's fine. I just think that it's just like, I just don't think that the history is what makes this country stand out. Like, I think the actions that happen there are what make it stand out. You know what I mean?
But part of the history.
I know, but by the logic that you're talking about, almost every episode we've seen in both series, old and new, could have been called Historic Country because the history had an impact on them. This country doesn't this country has literally like one like tablet, you know what I mean? Like out in their main square with a piece of history on it, and like as far as we can tell, there's no other historical anything. We don't know if there's a museum. We don't know if there's like anything. And then the guy that comes up, the old guy, is like, comes up and he talks to him. He says, "I can explain that tablet if you want," not even knowing that she's a traveler, apparently, because she specifies that she is a traveler after that. And like, he could have been explaining to anybody, a resident, you know what I mean? So even that like made me feel like maybe the residents don't even really know much about the history at that point, because it's an old guy that comes up and tells the story.
I mean, I think that was also the point because the little girl even. I mean, she doesn't say anything specific about that, but he does
Yeah.
bring up that he says happily ever after all.
I don't know.
I
It's
just
not very. It's not very historic. Um,
disagree. I'm not gonna do this.
you already disagreed like 7 times in a row and just phrased it slightly different ways. Um, it's also like a very playful episode that doesn't really have any big philosophical question to it, really. It seems pretty straightforward. Like everybody thinks that the master is the hero. The master is like extremely good, like at what she does. Like she's invincible, and she's like kind of playing God in the episode. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, "Oh, let's just go up here and pick people off for a little while, and not, they can live or die. Like we'll decide to let them live." Blah blah blah. What?
Yeah, I like characters like that sometimes.
I do too, but Kino's journey has been more about his like morally gray things and like philosophical questions and stuff like that. And this episode doesn't really have that.
I mean, if I may, I don't really need everything I consume to have this like philosophical quandary involved in it.
I don't, but you go to McDonald's and order a hot dog?
I would like to do that.
You don't go to McDonald's and order a hot dog because they sell hamburgers, not hot dogs. You don't go to Kino's Journey looking for like a heist spy like episode because like Kino's Journey is about like morally gray exploring morally gray areas and philosophical questions. So we just went to McDonald's and got a hot dog. Is pretty much what happened with this episode. It's not that like you don't have to have a problem with hot dogs to go to McDonald's. You don't have to love hamburgers to go to McDonald's. Like, but you're going to McDonald's to get a hamburger. You know what I mean? And you go to Kino's Journey for morally gray questions.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. At the same time, it's just one of those things. Like I don't know. It just sometimes the episode's just fun, and that's what I enjoy sometimes in the show. Like I don't like if you choose certain things for certain things you're gonna get out of it. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just like for me it's like I'm not as like hard on it, and mainly it's because I'm coming from a point of like, this journey wasn't really my favorite thing in the world, and I know it was for you. So like you feel like this remake is like it's like not only is it taking what you enjoyed and completely moving it from this reimagining. It's also
but even this series, even the new series, even if the other series didn't exist, the new series, that's what they do. They explore questions. Not as well, in my opinion, as the original, but they still are doing it. It's still like the pretense of the show is that's what we come here to do.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and argue back and argue that I don't think maybe they should have done that. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I feel like it was mostly just a story time thing with Kino because I don't think we're gonna. Well, I shouldn't say I don't think we're gonna see her master again, but like I don't think we're gonna see her master again for a few reasons. Because like considering that she's old, but I don't think she has any real importance to the story. I think she was just story itself was mostly just trying to explain a little bit more of like Kino's actions are the way they are. Because it seems like, at least from what I can tell, this might change as we get further into the show, but it seems like the original Kino, she modeled herself basically 100% after the dude that came to her village. At first, it seemed like with this show, Kino was talking about the original traveler that came down to her village for, and that's like why she left. But it seems really weird to me. Like it seems like she's more like her master in this one than I would think that she's like that Kino dude that she took the name of and is kind of modeling her visual appearance off of, and it's kind of weirded out by. I don't think we've seen the Kino guy yet, and I don't know if we will.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any art of like what this guy looks like for the new show. But it's by this episode it's been made really clear that she's acting like her master, but like in a less like aggressive way. I will say less aggressive. I mean, she shot up an entire town earlier, but still like it's like less aggressive than her master. But again, that can easily change depending on the situation. But I mean, I think what I'm coming to this show for is a little bit different than what you're coming towards the show. Now, granted, for me, the questions are fun to explore because like you get a kick out of it. And I
think when you've been trained to like come to something for something in particular by the pretense established by the show, I think that is a time when shows lose part of their audience. A couple examples I'll give you is my wife was into My Hero Academia at the beginning of the show because she was like, I turn it on and I see a story of heroic triumph that's very inspiring and like helps define what a hero is truly made of. And you know, it's a story of growing, it's a story, it was lighthearted and inspirational and happy to her, and she liked it. And when it started getting dark and depressing and about death and, you know, how horrible villains are and like how horrible a villain can be and everything else and suffering, and she was like, this is not what I bought into. You know what I mean? So you kind of like flipped it off and went on.
But
for me, it turned out I liked both. I was like, I like both versions of this world. But it definitely took a tonal shift, and that tonal shift sent some of their audience away, you know, in this case, my wife. Another example would be Dragon Ball Z. After the Cell Saga for me, I had a certain sense of what Dragon Ball Z episodes were. Like, Dragon Ball Z was about space, it was about like when you were on Earth, you were in like savage wilderness kind of areas with dinosaurs, and when you were in space, you still sort of savage wilderness with like mutant frogs and giant crabs attacking Bulma and Namek and stuff like that. And it was sort of like a place that was like sci-fi and also sort of like a little bit of a level of savagery to it. And Goku, all the way from Dragon Ball forward, had always been like kind of like a hillbilly and like everything else, and it was lighthearted and everything else. And then like after Cell Saga, like Gohan is like a teenager in school, and it just like it was such a disconnect for me that it really turned me off for a little while. I was so invested in Dragon Ball that I kept watching it, but I have never liked that part of Dragon Ball. That's always been by far my favorite part. Like, I suffer through it because I want to watch the Buu Saga when it starts getting good, but like I really don't like the part where Gohan was in school.
I guess we went into the Gohan thing. I might as well before we go into the next episode really quick. I think what you described with the Gohan stuff, like kind of like cements, jeez, use the right words, man. Cements like I actually don't mind the high school Gohan stuff. What I do mind is the superhero BS that they throw into there.
Saiyaman stuff.
Yeah, it's like I know I go harp on how much I hate the Great Saiyaman stuff, but like I guess like people don't know really how much I despise that. And I think I guess I had to really think about it just now to realize I think why I despise it so much. It's no secret to you that I don't like Hercules Satan. Like I despise that man. I think I connect him with the Great Saiyaman stuff, and it just causes me to hate it so much more. Like, but over the years, I've come to appreciate it because it's the only way Gohan met Videl, and I think that's kind of what like the whole high school and the Great Saiyaman stuff is really just about. It isn't about Gohan going to school. It's about Gohan meeting his future wife. Now, I will also admit they probably could have introduced Videl at any other point during the show, and that would have probably been better. Because I think Videl is literally the best part of the Great Saiyaman stuff. It's because like he I mean, it's at the very beginning when he first meets Videl, it's not clear that that's what the direction they're gonna go with. It's only after he starts interacting with with Videl further, you start picking up on the fact that, oh, that's what they're doing. They're giving Gohan a girlfriend. That's weird. They could have done that at any other point in the show, and they could have been a lot better. But I think it needed to be done this way because Videl is a high school girl, and we would have all been wondering where the heck she came from. There's no legitimate reason why she'd even be there. So giving her like stage that is the Great Saiyaman stuff and the high school Gohan stuff is what makes Videl work. Now could they have introduced Videl? Like I said before, they could have introduced Videl some other place maybe. But I don't know if that would have worked as much as Gohan randomly meeting her when he turns Super Saiyan in the middle of the city, taking down a couple of thieves, and she meets him for the first time, but she meets him with golden hair and green eyes. Doesn't realize that it's the nerdy kid that she met at her old high school. She starts piecing it together. Videl literally kind of pieces together who Gohan is without any real help from anybody else. That's actually kind of funny when you really think about it. Like Videl pieces everything together. She ain't dumb, but it's one of those things. Like I look back on that stuff going high school arc with some despise in my heart for some of it. But I look back on some of that and say like, well, it gave us Videl, and I can't hate it that much for that particular reason, because I actually do like Videl. Probably one of the Hercule Satan things that I actually do enjoy, because it kind of pushes Hercule to be more heroic later on. But ultimately, yeah, Gohan's high school stuff, man. I mean, the explanation that Kira gave was like Gohan didn't want to be a hero, and it was just one. I mean, Gohan did not want to be a fighter solely. He didn't want to. He wanted to go to school and become an entomologist. That's what he wanted to do. And I remember at first thinking that was forced upon him by his mother, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't. I think he always had an interest in ants. So it was just one of those things, yeah, you're right. The high school stuff probably really derailed, but I guess at the same time, when you really think about it, Gohan saves the planet, and then there's no evil to be seen anywhere else. Goku stays dead to ensure that. There's really no way to introduce any new villain without it kind of just seem kind of forced. Granted, Boo was kind of forced. So I mean, I think that was a perfect example of like, I don't know where else they could have went to introduce Boo. Whoa. While people will probably not like the Gohan stuff during the high school arc, but granted, I will say most people don't like Gohan post Cell Saga. I mean, it's one of the constant complaints that I hear sometimes about Gohan isn't like he used to be. Gohan's changed. And I was like, obviously Gohan's changed. He's gotten older.
Even the characters don't like Gohan. Goku, like when Goku sees what Gohan's become, he's like, "Dude, what'd you do?" And Vegeta's like, "He's not even as strong as he was when he was a kid now," and all that stuff.
But they don't like Gohan. It's just that Gohan, I mean, I was like, Gohan became soft because Gohan was always soft. Like, I mean, that was a part of Gohan's character. Gohan did not like fighting. He flat out just did not like doing it. Even though he was really strong, he was like one of the stronger fighters there. Like Gohan had to be pushed to fight 100% of the time. I don't think he ever fought willingly. Well, correction, Cell Saga. But before then, he rarely fought willingly. He kind of got pushed into it, and Piccolo didn't help when Piccolo dragged him into the wilderness.
I watched a video the other day on Dragon Ball Z, and they went through a bunch of the characters. And they said the question was like, what would the character do if they had to play some sport that wasn't fighting? And I was really disappointed that Gohan didn't get dodgeball.
not the joke with him is that he doesn't. I know that you're trying to make the joke up, but like I'm gonna just ruin the joke. But isn't the joke that Gohan doesn't dodge until the Cell Saga?
Maybe Piccolo could have played dodgeball then. I don't know. I felt like dodgeball needed to come up as one of the sports that
I
they played.
don't even know where that dodge joke came from because like, yeah, Gohan doesn't dodge, but like at the same time, I don't think it was ever that much of a problem. I mean, Gohan was just there to get punched. I guess that's how I saw it.
Every time someone throws a punch at Gohan, it lands for like a really large portion of the series. It was a really good setup for them to have because they had so much footage of him getting his butt kicked, like when he could have just dodged.
Isn't true that Gohan's not a fighter. Like I mean, and on top of that, it's like it's the truth. I mean, Gohan was trained, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily make you a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He isn't like Goku. He isn't like Vegeta. He isn't like Piccolo all that much, and not too much later on in the show anyway. But even that's kind of debatable. Like he ain't like Goten and Trunks, who like Trunks never was forced to go to school, at least not until high school. And Goten the same way. Actually, in fact, Goten was raised to fight by Chi-Chi. He never forced him into school, which is something I've always kind of had a small problem with. It's like she played favorites with Goten because he looked like her late husband. So basically, she had a soft spot for Goten, unlike her first son, who she forced into going to school. Now, granted, he wanted to go to school because he wanted to be an entomologist. He said that when he was very young. I understand that, but it's just one of those things. Like a lot of the things don't add up when you really add up Gohan's long, varied history in the series. It's varied. Yeah. It's varied. I think it's like half the reason why people have problems with Gohan. But Gohan is a fighter. He's been trained to be a fighter, but Gohan doesn't have the heart to do so. And that doesn't change until he's an adult and he has his own daughter. But like before then, like, you know, Gohan doesn't he doesn't fight. I mean, again, he can be coerced into fighting. Obviously, when Videl was getting hurt, he almost turned Super Saiyan 2 and knocked Spokovich out of the ring. Honestly, I really wish he had done that instead of letting Nahare stop him.
Yeah. So I only had one more little comment for that episode before we move on, because believe it or not, we're running a little short on time.
I'm aware. I free to stop me, but didn't.
Well, I knew I was opening a can of worms when I said the word Gohan within 100 feet of you.
Continue if you're doing.
So this is just a little tiny bit of like almost a plot hole. And I'm not going to say full-on plot hole because then you're just going to disagree with me. But do you remember when she leaves? At first, like she leaves and she's like agreed to have the guy like stay in the prison according as far as they can tell, and she like leaves the town peacefully with like without his money and stuff like that. Do you remember that scene like halfway through the episode?
I think I was like eating dinner as I was like watching that episode play out. So some things I don't remember fully. I do remember something about the suitcase that he had left her, told her
right,
to sell it for anything lower than a certain amount of money.
Which was kind of stupid, given that they were pretty sure the police were just going to steal their shit if they knew it was valuable. Bad example of kind of bad writing in that episode number 1. Example of bad writing in that episode number 2 was, as she's walking out, the guy tells the police officer, "Don't let her back into the city for any reason. I can tell that she's trouble." And
you ever leave? Oh, I don't think she ever left, did she?
She did. She walked out of she walked out, and I know that she was out. She left the country because she was checking out the site when she was out of the country, and she like used it on deer and called it a good little toy. And she's like, "What a useful little toy."
Before I say anything, Like,
Mhm.
does it really bother you that I try to disagree on some of these things? I mean, I feel like that's more bantery than anything else.
No, not really. Um, so then I was drinking water, that's why I paused. Then she just kind of strolls back in the city. Like, it seems like they just straight up let her back in.
They probably did. I mean,
But they were told not to let her back in the city again.
did they? Wait, now this is me just legit because
Absolutely did,
I
yeah.
remember I like this is because I was eating dinner and I was looking away every now and then to take a bite. So like I was listening, but I can only do so much while eating. But I got something. So like he told those guards that when she had walked out, to not let her back in.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the exact moment so you can look at it yourself. It's like in the 9:30-ish range. So I'm trying to see if I can find it. Or maybe a little earlier than that. I'm trying in the 750 range, see if I can find it here. I'm trying to find the exact quote, but it was just interesting to me that they say, like, don't let her go back in, and then next thing you know, she's just casually walking around, like, dropping bombs in the trash cans and stuff. I'd be annoyed if I can't find it fairly easily. But I'm positive it was there. Hang on. 908. Okay. Started around 908. It's that's where it is. 908 to about 9:15. My screen is bugging out right now, unfortunately, so I've got to refresh. It had a playback bug.
Okay.
So see to it that she doesn't come back, right? Something along those lines.
They said that after they said that after. Yeah. They said they had right after they reported to him that she had left the country. Okay.
She left the country, and then it says, "See that she doesn't come back." I could tell that she was trouble.
Like, was she the one that caused the ruckus, or was that somebody else? I know there was a ruckus. It was a ruckus that happened, and then that put all the police officers away from like. I remember hearing that something was like apparently that was going to redirect all the police efforts from the gate to further in. Or was that afterwards?
No, it's she goes around like putting bombs in like trash cans and stuff like that, and just like sets up, like, creates absolute chaos, and she creates the ruckus. Crunchyroll is like being really buggy for me, and like whenever I click on something, it's like,
That does that to me too. Don't worry about it.
yeah. So she put, like, it looks like she basically put a bomb in every trash can in the city, and they all go off at the same time. So, like, despite them having tracked her and decided that she was bad news and being given orders not to let her back in the city, not only did she get back in the city, but she came in with like a hyperbolic amount of bombs, which she then put in every trash can in the city, and they all go off and they start fires. And then in the chaos that comes out of that, like, she just slips into the jail.
I want to actually say something really quick about that. I mean, not that it really helps anything. It looks like she wasn't because, like, okay, here's the thing. they like if you were a guard and you were tracking a person you were told not to let in, right? You'd be taking key information like what they were wearing. She literally goes outside the village, changes into a jumpsuit or whatever like that, puts a hat on, almost like now, unless you're really good at seeing like faces and you were
Mhm.
taking note of her face where she had left, guarantee they probably weren't.
Okay, but she just walked out like that day.
They probably get people. I
And
mean,
then,
like, this isn't
and
the
then, like,
people.
she strolls around the fucking city, like, looking left and right, then dropping bombs and trash cans all the way up and down the streets. And nobody in this heavily, like, place that's defined by its police, like, happens to notice what's going on.
I'm just gonna. I was gonna say one thing: police are not good at their job. I mean, and this is real life. Like the police in real life are not good at their job either.
Okay, but, like, nobody, not the police, not the villagers, like, no one thought, gee, I wonder why she's walking up and down this street, opening every trash can, throwing something in it, and then closing the trash can. Nobody that threw something away lifted up the trash can and said, oh, isn't that interesting? A bomb. You know, like, and noticed that there was a bomb. Like, not one of those trash cans, like, did somebody notice that there was a bomb in it, like, after she put the bomb there. It's just a little, it's not the best writing I've ever seen in my life.
Eh,
It's not skill. It's not skill to do that. It's luck, and it's like dumb, stupid luck. Given that she did it all throughout the city, like they pan back and show the whole city, and the city is like lit up with these fires that have started in all their trash cans.
it's not the same way in real life. I mean, sometimes you're wondering how some people get away with certain things. It shouldn't logically be possible. I'm not saying this makes it any better. I'm just saying, like, in like
If somebody did that in real
logistically,
life, there's no equivalent to that in real life of something being that ridiculous.
I feel like there is because like, there are some things that just happen that I don't know how they happen. People getting snatched out of nowhere. You think there'd be people around noticing a strange person walking around like with a unconscious person, somebody driving around with a car, somebody banging on the window, whatever like that. In real life, there are dumb things that happen in real life. I feel like that are just as equivalent to that. That shouldn't have happened, but it's because people aren't as like observant.
Yes, there are dumb things that happen in real life. I would say no, they're not that ridiculous.
I feel like I've heard some things that shouldn't have happened get the guy away. I mean, even bombs that happened, like the Boston. Granted, the Boston bombing thing, they picked up their surveillance after the first one, but still, it's even ridiculous how the first one went off. I'm just, I mean, I'm not saying that really makes up for any of it. I'm just saying that I feel like ridiculous things like that have happened in real life that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but the Boston bombing isn't like someone went into Boston and put a bomb in every trash can in Boston without getting noticed. It was like one building.
One building should have noticed somebody though. I'm just saying, like you were saying that there's no way that she could have walked around. There are police everywhere. There's like every like city's got their own set of police. Now some places got more police than others. I will say that. But even with that, even like the smallest rural area, I feel like there'd be police walking down up and down streets. I'm just saying, it's one of those things like I'm willing to forgive or whatever. I don't really, me personally, I'm not taking it as an offensive thing one way or the other. A lot of people are not, whatever. I just feel like dumb things happen. To me, that's just one of those things like, okay, they got away with dumping that many explosives. And they're shoving down the police just are not good at their job. Because like the police did strike me as competent. Maybe they did for you, but they didn't for me.
Mm.
Even that
They didn't
one
strike me as
guy.
confident. But like I said, the villagers and stuff too. Like nobody got it. You know.
They were ruled by the police, and again, like the police just didn't strike me as competent. Like if they had been competent, and you said that to me, I would have said, yeah, right, that doesn't seem right. Or
I
I
mean,
would have cared
we know
more.
that they're not competent because they announced everything they were doing on TV, and they just sat there and watched TV to see what their plans were going to be. But like,
I'm saying that she could have got away with these cops. I'm sorry. And these people, I don't think these people would have cared one way or the other. They probably would have saw somebody dumping trash for some really weird reason. Well, let me take that back. If they were really paying attention, I'm pretty sure that's how she did it. Is they weren't.
Hmm.
That's probably the only real freaking way he did it. Like, I don't think these people cared all that much because they were being ruled by the police to begin with. They were
Let's
paying more
let's talk about
attention.
the let's talk about the logistics of having that many bombs
I'm just gonna say anime.
and having that many bombs that work in a way that you can sync them all to blow up at the same time. Like holy shit.
Well, I think there's a way you could do it. It takes a remote, but I'm pretty sure she didn't have that.
Because she comes in dressed up like a police officer. That's her disguise. Like, but would she have like a fucking wagon behind her, like full of grenades and shit that she was dropping in? Like, where did she hide them? You know?
I feel like this is bothering you more than it's bothering me. And
Yeah, of course it
I
is.
take a solace in that.
It doesn't work.
I think what it is like it's not that you don't really like this shit. You have your
Hmm.
problems with it because it doesn't match up to what you believe Kino's journey is. And I think like every small little nuance thing you probably wouldn't have paid too much attention to is driving you up a wall. It's like you said before, probably if you it's for there are some things you notice because you're looking for it. As for me, I'm not. And it's like, yeah, could they have written that better with the whole thing? I don't know. Like, the problem is when you run into with her dropping all that kind of like payload into the city. It's like there's no legitimate way you could like write that and she didn't get caught and she go to jail. So for this to succeed, she would have to have dumb luck.
Hmm.
So like, I think that was the only way that they could have made this happen. Is she just had dumb luck.
Yeah, I mean, could you see her like? She must have made multiple trips to bring all those grenades and bombs or whatever they were in. Could you see her like
She had
10 trips in?
disguise.
Like, what?
She had a disguise. She wasn't like she didn't have the police uniform until she went into the jail. She had like a general like just like nondescript jacket, hat, and pants on for some reason, and like. I mean, it's a stretch to believe that they didn't notice her by face, but the only again, these cops, the only way I can make sense that makes me happy is that these cops are just so incompetent that they didn't take notice of her face. Because she didn't cover it up. She just covered her hair, and that was it.
Hmm.
Like, she covered her hair, and she put on a jacket to cover up her original outfit that she had on when she first walked in. Which tells me that she had taken note that they were taking note of people's clothing and hair, but not their faces. Because, like, she doesn't look like anybody that lives in that city, so if she walked into that gate again and noticed her face, they would have not let her in.
Hmm.
So basically, to me, it's like these cops are so incompetent, they don't care about what their people's faces are. They're caring about what they're wearing because they have so many people walking in and out of that city. And again, is it dumb writing? I call it dumb luck that she managed to walk through and essentially it looks like put a bomb in every 2 trash cans on the road. It looks like
Yeah.
I consider that she was able to do that. Again, people do dumb things in real life and get away with it. I just move on.
That being said, what did you think of episode 2 of Shizu's Journey?
I literally almost panicked when you said that because I was like, wait, did I just watch the wrong episode?
No, you watched the right one. It was episode 2 of Shizu's Journey.
Um,
They mistranslate it as episode 8 of Kinos Journey, but it's actually Shizu's Journey, and it's the second episode after the ship one.
I liked it. I think I liked the interaction between Riku and Ina. I think that's how you say her name.
T.
P. More because I was like I noticed after their second interaction of each other in that episode, it was very obvious that somebody getting to know their new pet, how a dog probably not be like okay with strangers, because it seemed like it wasn't like she was a stranger, but it was like before the episode they had a situation where they were in the city with the radio waves, and like people in the city all turned on them. But the little girl almost cost them all to put in jail with a bomb that she had with a little baby in her hand. I'm
Hmm.
surprised that she managed to get a hold of that baby as easily as she did, and the mother was like, "Yeah, don't hurt my baby." It's like you held on to that thing much tighter, lady. I don't know how she walked up to you and got a hold of the kid, but she like almost caused them all to get hurt. But like, and like you learn later on that Riku, like if it had come down to like her or him, he would have saved him. But at the end of the episode, he had like a he had like a realization that that's what he thought, and he felt bad about it after realizing that him and the girl had gotten closer. I thought it was like really cute because like pretty much he left the dog and her by themselves in the hotel, do whatever he's trying to do for 2 days, I think. And like he was just watching, he was watching over her, but like it was like a little kid being left alone with the dog for the first time. Really cute. I enjoyed it. But that was a cool interaction between those two because I never thought about it, but yeah, because those two haven't really been left alone by themselves before. I also like the little expression of sadness in the dog's face. The dog was very expressive considering how lifelike that dog looks. I'm actually kind of shocked they were able to keep giving him expressions that really matched with the way he was talking. But the idea of the dog's talking, being
So
accepted.
here's something I approve of. I like Shizu's voice in this version of the show as much as the original.
I couldn't tell you either way.
They were really close, and I liked it.
I mean, she's an interesting character.
And here's something I hated.
Yeah,
I hated the way the pizza was animated in the beginning of the episode.
you know, like I guess like you didn't like. This is probably an interesting thing. You want to see some really good food? Get in. Um, look up Dan specifically. You'll probably see some of the best looking food, Japanese cuisine you probably seen in your entire life. That show does a good job doing that. But back to the current episode. I didn't know.
Go look at it again. 237. I actually legitimately wondered, if what they had done was inserted like some sort of stock image over the food that was actually there because for an American audience because they thought the original food was not going to be understood by the American audience, so they put something an American audience would understand, but they were really low budget and they just forced it on there. That's how badly animated the pizza was to me. I actually I replayed it and watched it because I was curious if that was what was going on.
As you can tell, I really take minutes. Food and shows never really.
237. Watch it. Take a look at at 241, for example.
What? Wait a minute. No, sorry.
What?
I just took a notice of the pizza slice that he gave to Riku. Sorry, 1 minute. You said
Okay.
stock. You said stock image, and then I noticed the pizza. It's like really quick.
At 241, when they're sitting at the table, look how artificially inserted that it is. It's not even like
What is with that?
it doesn't
pizza?
have it doesn't have the shadow that the rest of the show has. It doesn't have the animation style. It's just like bizarrely thrown in there. I literally thought they might have been covering up some food that they didn't think American viewers would understand, and it was just an American only modification to it.
I mean, you could just watch the sub to see if there's pizza there.
It is pizza. It just I had to check because I was just because they say the pizza is really good at one point, so they really are going for pizza, but it's such a bad animation of pizza that I had a tough time with it.
I could eat that.
Yeah, because it looks like a photo, like a stock image photo of pizza, inserted into this anime that doesn't follow any of the animation style of anything else in this episode.
I'll find that that if that disgusts you, I'm actually kind of curious what your thought process is.
It doesn't disgust me. It just doesn't look like at all like what's going on there. They should have just put something Japanese there, like sushi or something, or something nondescript that they could draw using this animation style, rather than inserting like a terrible stock photo of image of like pizza there.
I don't think they should have done that, and I will always go back.
Or a nondescript food, like a nondescript food that didn't look like anything in particular.
I don't know if that. Well, I guess it could have, but I will always go back to the onigiri thing. Brock calling that a donut. That actually confused me as a kid, because I remember like that was not a donut as a kid. Like this is before I even knew what onigiri was. But I knew what a donut was as a kid. Like that was like, I don't remember if like that was on purpose, which clearly it was. It was just America ruining things again. What I want to see is if I can find. Oh, yeah, here's a perfect example of something. So this I thought was really interesting with the way that they did things in Dan. That right there. That wasn't an episode.
Hang on a second.
That's from the anime I'm currently watching. I got season 2 right now. But anyway,
oh yeah, that makes me furious.
They did this like
that
twice.
That makes me completely furious. That's just a picture. That makes me furious. I hate it.
It actually looked really good, actually, when it was in motion. I'm not gonna lie, it was really off-putting at first, but
you ruined my night. You ruined my entire night with that.
They do it again at some point too. I forgot what it is. The other thing they do it. They do it again. It's very weird, but I think it's really good because it's real food, and like according to the creator, he says that he inserts food scenes a lot in this show because he remembers when he was first starting out how like getting 1,000 yen to get like a decent meal is a life changer for him. Again, they don't get paid a lot. You know, mangakas don't get paid a lot. But I think this is nice, and the reasoning behind it I think makes a lot of sense. Now, what's going on here in Kinos Journey? I can't help them right there with that. I honestly didn't care all that much, but now you brought it to my attention. I'm looking at it in a 4K screen. I'm kind of like, huh, weird. I didn't pick up on this.
I asked ChatGPT to draw me a pizza in the animation style of Kino's Journey. I'm curious what it does.
Sorry. I said, look at it eat that pizza slice was like one of the weirdest. I was like, what are the? Oh god. Okay.
While we're talking about little details, in the animation choices, I kind of liked Shizu's car, the off-roader thing that he drove. I don't know if I've seen anything like it in real life. It looked like sort of an invention of like the anime. Do you feel that way about it? It's not quite a Jeep.
There's some like
military? Is it some sort of dune buggy military vehicle? Like it's really interesting.
I think it's a road style dune buggy because they exist. There are people who drive it around here. There are like some people who actually have a car kind of like that drive it around here. But the people who drive those cars aren't exactly the best road thing.
Yeah.
Rye.
Wow.
You can
this
take,
pizza is not what I expected.
You can take seed, go somewhere with it, Rye. I saw you already got it.
That's what ChatGPT did.
I think that's good. I think that works with the show. What's wrong with it?
The colors are a little too bold. The details a little too crisp. It pops a little too much.
I think it's a good looking food. Like, I mean, if you want to put food in anything, make it look as real as you can.
Do you want me to find something wrong with it that you can't even disagree with?
I don't think you can.
The pepperoni is not cut where the bread is, where the dough is cut.
I hate you.
And you're gonna see that every time you look now. It happens in three or four different pepperoni pieces.
I hate you. Why'd you have to ruin that for me? I was looking at it, but I wasn't bothered by it. And you bring attention to it, and then I'm like,
you know I'm playing you, but you also know that I'm right. Anyway, I like. Go ahead.
Sorry, like, you know what's wrong with the pizza? Not that you know, besides the very picturesque picture magazine border cut, not the tomatoes, the freaking pepperoni on that pizza slice that she's eating when she's got it in her mouth right there. What number is this? Like, almost like around 330, whatever like that. Like it's in her mouth and she's eating it. The freaking pepperoni, if that's what those are so wrong. They're like little cherry tomatoes. I don't know what they're doing on the pizza.
Yeah, it looks like it's bleeding. Did you see what I mean? It doesn't fit the animation style at all. It's so out of place.
I don't know. It fit it when they were moving the pizza slice because it was very limp. Like pizza is. So I don't know what happened there.
You wouldn't eat pizza that way either. Because the second her mouth like lets go of that piece of pizza, it's going to fall like directly down.
She ate it all in one bite. Well, not one bite, but she ate it
Not
all
only is
in
it going
one
to fall directly, not only is it going to fall directly down, but it's going to fall directly down forward because she like. How did she even pick that up?
Okay, I
like,
think we need to move on from the pizza.
What? No.
I think we need
Listen,
to move on from the pizza.
God damn it! Listen to me. How did she? What was the logistics when she picked this up? What direction was that piece? She would have had to like flip that around with her hands to make it face it in that direction.
I can tell you the logistics.
We should be looking at the bottom of the slice.
I think when Shizu handed it to her, he put the slice on the plate, and it was the point was facing him. She took it over to her side, and she picked it up from the back end. I'm guessing, and plopped it up in her mouth. Wrong wording.
It's so fucking awkward.
I think we can move on from the pizza.
I'm so mad.
This has become
This has
become the new bike.
This is my bike. This is my Hermes right here. Is that pizza? That moment of 332 is horrible.
I think we need to stop talking about the pizza because I can already feel it. I can already feel it. This becoming the.
That is, I'm never gonna get over that. That makes me so angry. Now that you pointed out, and I like started wondering. Also, the pizza doesn't have any crust. Did you notice that there is almost zero crust in her hand when she's pulling that out? It's a triangle of pizza texture with no crust.
There are pizzas that don't have crust though.
Okay, but isn't it shown to have crust in earlier parts?
I mean, hold on, let me really quick.
I think it's shown to have like a little crust, and like when they put it down for Shizu and stuff like that, right?
I'm starting to wonder. This is how it feels to be listening
and
to
wait,
me
the crust
ranting
actually
about a bike.
Changes. The crust fucking changes, and the shape of the slice changes. Look at it at 251. It's a completely different food at 251. And there's a weird little, when I pause it, there's a weird little like hand imprint on the left hand side.
The oregano disappears.
Yeah.
There was oregano on the pizza.
This one's better, by the way. I had ChatGPT draw it.
The tomatoes, really, just those are tomatoes. Those are not pepperoni.
Yeah, that's tomato. Because it's even got seeds. They even drew like the seeds in. Pepperoni doesn't have that. Those little speckles.
I mean, if you put hot peppers on it, I believe I've seen pizza with pepperoni like that. I think it's a rare type of pizza that they do that, but I think they can.
I don't know. It makes me so. The shape of that slice is different.
I think we need to move on from the pizza.
Proportions are different.
I think we need to move on from the pizza. Breathe.
I gotta check my blood pressure. I got a blood pressure machine next to my computer. I gotta check my blood pressure.
I think as I try to get Jock to calm down.
Can we talk about the off-roader again? Because that made me happy.
I think as I try to, as Jock tries to calm himself, I'm gonna try helping us move on because we don't have a lot of time. A lot of that was spit on the pizza. I am so sorry, folks. I now know what it feels like to be an episode of the bike conversation. I will not stop, but
Are we? Is no one going to talk about where the fuck he got that full-sized off-roader from? Like, how does he just own an off-roader now? I like it, but where the hell did it come from? He like win it in a card game? Like, what's going on here?
He just suddenly has it. Oh Lord!
He doesn't have. He doesn't really have a job. He doesn't have a house. He doesn't have like stuff.
Pick up a tomato before they get to the pizza scene.
Shut up!
I just noticed that this would actually happen.
I mean, they don't even really understand. At 407, they pick actual tomatoes, and I have never seen tomatoes grow like that before. Maybe that's my own ignorance. The tomatoes look almost exactly like apples until the guy picks it and holds it in his hand. Like if you look at 403. I
think that's an animation quirk. Nothing really is 100% one-to-one sometimes. I mean, you're drawing something over and over again. It also depends on the skill of the artist, too, because there are some anime that do really good jobs of keeping straight lines.
That's not what tomato leaves look like, though.
It's the anime. Why are you picking apart visuals?
I don't know. It made me angry because I thought they were picking apples, and I found out it was a tomato.
I mean, tomatoes are fruit. Before we get into
I didn't say it wasn't. I didn't say it is a fruit. I didn't say it wasn't a fruit. I know you're trying to like you're having so much fun right now with like how pissed off I am. But
Barbie doesn't think you really are pissed off. I think you're just doing it for the bit. But you know, we're just moving on.
The pizza. The pizza got me kind of mad. The tomato thing.
We're gonna move on.
I legitimately did make a note about the tomatoes to talk about that. The machines connected to the radio waves sound like they're made up, which they were. I was making these notes live as I was watching, so when I put something that they explained seconds later, it was still there. No one figures out that the pin has been out of the grenade for like 20 minutes. When she pulls the pin out, and he's like, "The pin's out!" And she's like, "Yeah, the pin's out." And she just walks around with it for. I didn't understand the logistics of that. Well, what didn't I understand there? Because I feel like maybe that was
basically the pin is just a way to prevent the. As you know, the pin is a way to prevent the bomb from going off. Actually, one of the funny things about it, I didn't even notice was a thing. But apparently, the little pin thing that the pin is holding onto, like the anchor, whatever you call that thing, that she's squeezing, prevents the bomb from going off. So basically, yeah, she was walking around. She was walking around without a pin and a grenade. That's because she knew that it wouldn't go off.
Okay, she knew it wouldn't go off as long as she held it that way. Okay, that makes more sense.
You see later on that she's got more bombs, and they're all wrapped around at that little thing. There's a point later on we see that she has a lot of bombs like that. So she knows what she's doing because she does it. She does it when they first meet too. But she knows they won't go off, which is strange because I don't know how many grenades she has on her at all times, but whatever.
Oh, here's my big plot hole for this episode, Country of Radio Waves. So they've been living here for hundreds of years with that tower nearby that they believe is being pissed off about the tomatoes and stuff.
Really, one hand on the freaking stuff.
The pizza makes me angry. Like there is a little bit of authentic frustration there. It's so disrespectful to the anime because this is my all-time favorite anime that they're ruining.
I think this show is fine. I mean, I don't. I probably just do think the show is fine, but there's also a part of me that just loves.
This would be like if they did a remake of Pokemon, but Pikachu is a corgi now. You know, like it's just they really shout on some of the original beauty of the show.
Actually, they kind of did make a corgi Pikachu. What's the name of it? I forgot the name of it. They did make a corgi Pikachu.
Is your stream back up yet?
It's back up. You can continue.
Thank you.
Yeah, they made one. Yeah, they made one. Yamper.
So I didn't understand why they didn't just move.
I think the whole idea of this show is that they want to believe the lies. Like to me,
I know, but they said like the radio waves are apparently limited in their ability to affect it because they said we can't get there because we'll be so close to it that it just takes us over. So the fact that they believe that, like, why don't you just move away from where it is? Because that seems to be what Shizu's trying to make them do at the end when he's like, it's even worse now, it's gonna kill you all. I don't think he did that just to amp them up. I think he was trying to like get them to like find a solution that would work for them, which sounds like you have to move.
I didn't think that's what he was doing. Honestly, I didn't know what he was doing when he was threatening them like that.
And Shizu's not a bad guy, so that was the only good reason I could think of to do that. Do you know what I mean? It was that he thought.
Because to me, he was trying to help them out to begin with, and they just didn't believe him because they couldn't believe. Like they were all living, basically they were all living a lie, thinking that all the bad things that were happening was because of radio waves. If they moved and there were still bad things happening, they would have to wrestle with the fact that there just are bad people. And that was another thing that he was trying to get them to understand, is that sometimes people just are crazy. But like it was clear when he had introduced that whole idea to their brains, they all couldn't handle it. You know, even that mayor guy who had first been so welcoming to him at the very beginning when he had introduced that idea, he turned on him like everybody else did, because they couldn't handle the idea that maybe there just are crazy people living out there. Like them leaving would like go against the whole idea of how their world works. I don't think even if you were to convince
Why would it go against it?
Huh?
I don't understand. Why would it go against it?
Because if they move away and then these things keep on happening, like they can't use the radio waves as an excuse. I think honestly,
so you think that they deep down they know that he's right, that the radio waves aren't causing it.
I believe that deep down they believe that these radio waves are causing it, but they don't want to like leave the only town that they call home.
But they've been living there for generations and generations. Like, don't you think that after 500 years, people would trickle away from like the place that like makes them turn into sociopaths? Like, I don't know, go to college away from home. Like, you're interrupting.
Sorry.
Like you know how people go to college away from home? Like they travel abroad for like college. Like if you did that, for example, like you travel abroad for college, you go to a different state, you know, Ohio or something like that. And it's interesting because in Ohio, like there's no tower that turns you into a sociopath and mass murderer. So you're like, maybe I made some friends here while I was out here. Maybe I'll just stay in Ohio where I won't turn into a sociopath.
I mean, that makes sense, but I mean, I guess the more glaring hole, and it's something that Shizu brings up in conversation with well, not Shizu, but yeah, Shizu with his dog, is that like they should have, like, a lot of the people, the newer generation should have not evolved, but should have like been born about the misfiring, the synapses of going crazy. You'd think that they would have realized by then that maybe it isn't really the tower. I must have misunderstood the whole brain robot thing, chip thing that was inside their brains, because after the masters left, they wouldn't have been able to keep implanting those chips into people's brains. So at a certain point, like, there wouldn't be people with that going on in their brain, but I don't know. Again, yeah, could they have moved? I mean, sure, that makes sense, but I mean, go off your idea, yeah, maybe they do deep down know that this isn't this isn't what's really going on. They just like.
Do you think that's what Shizu was trying to get them to do with his last like words to them? Do you think he was trying to get them to scare them into moving away?
I don't know what he was trying to do. I mean, I legitimately didn't know what he was trying to get them to do. Like, I honestly thought he was trying to get them to blame him for the continuous mass murdering. Because I mean, he said to him that they increased the strength of the radio waves before they left, as they were intending to take over in the madness, but because it didn't work out, he's just gonna leave. And that caused that guy some great discomfort when he heard that as he walked away. So I can only assume, like, my thought was like, okay, maybe he's trying to give them what they want, which is to blame the radio waves. Because he got on the fact that, like, they did not want to hear whatever he had to say.
Right.
He picked up on that, so he fed into exactly what they wanted to hear. And that's what he did before he left, trying to return. I guess my thought process is that he was trying to return the city back to normal. Because when he was trying to tell them what was really going on, it caused a lot of problems. Like, the entire city was breaking down. So he was like, I think he was trying to return the city back to normal.
Right. So other than that, the T slice of life thing, I didn't have a lot to say about, except that she seems to be a sociopath. Stepping on her shadow and thinking that her honey is poisoned. I assume that's what that was supposed to be, honey. But no, I didn't see like anything special to say about it. It just seemed like it was the show being kind of cute for a little bit.
I think it was cute, and I honestly, guess the thing about with her is, like, I don't know if she's really a sociopath, because, like, sometimes people who don't know, like, and this is just coming from
Shizu had to suggest to her that maybe she should leave her 5 grenades at home when she goes out for a walk.
What I was trying to say was so rude and interrupted. Like, some people who don't, like, coming as an introvert, sometimes you don't know how to interact with other people, because, like, you just don't know how to interact with them. You don't know how to, like, connect with them. Bombs aside, I don't think she was intending to use them, because I hope not. It was a good idea to leave him behind.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Shizu had brought up that, like, not Shizu, but what's the name of the... Who's the traveler? Is Shizu the name of the dog, or am I mixing those names up?
The dog is Riku.
Okay.
Shizu is the guy, and T is the girl.
Okay, Riku had telling her to leave the bombs behind. It was one of those things, like, you know, didn't Shizu tell Riku before he left that the city was dangerous? Like, now, I'm pretty sure she doesn't know that, but you never freaking know. I mean, a little girl running around by herself in the city by herself is really dangerous in the first place. Granted,
No, that's a good point.
he did come with her too, so just to make sure that she was safe. But again, she's an awkward schoolgirl, and again, like, you know, as Shizu was explaining to Riku all the things that she was doing, from a really grounded perspective, you know. She was trying to see if she was alive when she slept in her shadow. Then nothing happened. She just kind of, like, moved on the rest of her day. The poison honey. Again, I think it's a lot of, like, maybe she's just trying to like you know, help her break some of her habits that she had, you know, made when she was living on that boat by herself. Well, I say by herself, but even with the people around who were ignoring her.
Yeah, it was touching to see her hugging Shizu.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, as the show kind of went on, a bond formed between her and the dog, which is typically what you sometimes give a pet to some kids for, is to give them a companion. Like, I guess it's kind of cool that you know, Riku became that companion for her, and I like that. It was a slice of life that probably won't amount to much in the future, but I thought it was nice because, you know, it was perspective given from Riku's point of view. I don't think that they gave that to us at all during the original show. I could be completely wrong. But I don't remember there being a point where we were having an episode dedicated to the dog. But, you know,
no, because Shizu and Riku only appear in the one episode, the 1-2-part episode.
That's what I thought. But yeah, it was kind of cool that they gave this perspective on him, and I like that, and I like that. You know, it was a cute moment. I mean, will that amount much? I don't think so. But hey, it was a nice moment. because they kind of ended
Yeah.
everything. They kind of ended everything with the city really quickly. I noticed. So, and we know that Shizu's looking for a place to stay. I guess we'll see them one more time, and they'll be when they finally settle down someplace. I'm guessing, if we see him
Mhm.
again. But
I'm getting kind of tired. I took my sleep meds about 35 minutes ago.
no problem. The pizza got.
The pizza just wore me out spiritually.
Oh no, I like these episodes. It's clear that Fear has his nitpicks with both episodes. But that's what I suspected when I saw those two new characters in the thumbnail. My thought process was like, oh lord, he's not gonna like this episode. I didn't know nothing about it. That was my thought process when I saw that thumbnail.
The problem is that I've been kind of warming up to this series a little bit over some of these episodes. Like, some of them are not so bad. But I really didn't like Historic Country at all. And Radio Waves was all right, but I thought that Kino should be in most of the episodes.
I don't mind. I mean, I understand with a show called Kino's Journey. There's Kino's Journey, but I mean, there are other characters besides Kino, but I guess with that,
I just like at this point, like something like half or so of the episodes. And Kino's in all the episodes but one so far, but like half or so of these episodes are really about someone that's not Kino. Because these two are both not really about Kino. One's about Master, one's about the Shizu crew. And then I just feel like they're giving the secondary characters a lot of time so far. This episode 4 was pretty much a Shizu episode. I know Kino comes in at the end and they do a little like firefight together, but like it's pretty much Shizu.
I think figure people be wondering what these characters are doing. Well, at least Shizu, because we don't know anything about Kino's Master. The first time we heard her. I don't know. I probably think it's based on the fact that they had Kino jump when Hermes said that what if she was there. It tells me that like her master is still kicking around. We just don't know where she's at.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see her
I
again.
have to say the title of the next episode doesn't make me very optimistic either. Having just be called Various Countries.
Guess we'll end off on that. I personally have enjoyed this a lot more than the first watch, but that's mainly because I already made mention that it wasn't all that I was lukewarm on the original telling. It wasn't that was bad. It's just that the one color thing kind of threw me off. I understand that's kind of the charm of that show. It wasn't for me. I feel bad that it wasn't for me because I can watch shows with like one color palette. I've done it before. But like just for whatever reason, that one turned me off.
Yeah.
I watch shows that use mostly black as a color. I thought they might enjoy the show as a way to give off a. I still stand by what I said that a show can still give off the that vibe and use different colors. It's all about how you use colors. So,
We only have 2 more podcasts before we're done with Kino. We've got 4 episodes left.
Oh, that last one might bleed into my Hero Academia stuff.
Yeah. Oh, if that's cool. That's cool if it does work out that way. That means everything kind of like neatly locked into each other.
Skip next week. Yeah, I think that's gonna bleed into My Hero Academia. That depends if My Hero Academia starts in October. I don't know if it does.
Yeah.
I've been avoiding stuff. I haven't been watching any trailers for My Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't know what the release date is. Probably look into that, but I'll look into it close to the end of the month. All right, with that, we are almost 3 hours into the podcast type episode. This is the first. Good night, everybody. Sorry for Jock's spasticness over the pizza. He's mostly
God.
enjoying it, so that's kind of why I kind of encouraged it.
You son of a bitch.
Listen, sometimes you just gotta eat the pizza. Good night, everybody.
Good night.